there has never been more information available in the history of time for how to not act like a piece of shit on a first date, and you need to use it. Girls Gotta Eat.
Welcome back. So I am unwell. I'm fucked up. And you know how I know? Because I drove all the way here downtown in a monsoon. No music.
Actually, no.
First of all, unhinged behavior. Second of all, extra unhinged for me. I don't roll like that. I never have. Some people are more like that. I respect it. Live your truth. Like some people drive more without music. Never in my life.
No, you drove to Spotify with no music.
Being in the car and music are synonymous. That's a thing. It'd be like crazy not to play music in the car.
You're like a serial killer.
You get in the car with somebody, they're not playing
What
music.
if you went on a date with somebody and they're like, I prefer no music?
Okay, let me ask you this. What's worse? No music or house music?
I actually don't know. Okay, it depends on the length of the ride.
And I'm speaking from experience. Just in the car. What are we doing?
Anything longer than 3 minutes. So the way I back out of my house is really awkward, and then I have to like shut the garage, and then I have to pull out, like normal people. I'm mansplaining how to pull out of a house. If I get more than like a block away from my house, I haven't turned on music yet, something's wrong.
Well, it's usually just connects. It's like, we're good to go. And I was just like, I realized it, as I was almost here, and then I didn't even put it on. That's how I knew I was like extra fucked up today. I was like, I'm just going to sit in it. I'm just going to listen to this fucking rain and be mad. You just like, did you ever see that meme of that? Like, it's like an emo kid just laying in a puddle. Like, that was me. Like, I don't want to feel better. I'm going to just, shit went down this morning. We've just been like rage voice noting all morning. And I was like, I'm going to just be madder.
I know. Sometimes like Ashley and I will leave her a voice. I said it 6 times this morning as I'm screaming at you on voice notes. And I'm like, and I don't want to be in an echo chamber where we just make each other mad about stuff. And we're just like, this sucks, this. And then I just kept doing it. When you're like really upset and you don't eat. And like you're like, I could make myself feel better today. I could eat a cheeseburger. I could do something nice to like make myself smile. But like I'm not gonna do it. Like that's the equivalent of not listening to music for me in the car. I'm like so in my rage. I don't even like remember to eat or listen to music.
Yeah, it's like your inner emo kid is coming out. Like your inner like I don't want to. I just want to be mad about it.
Sometimes you gotta lean in.
Yeah, you just gotta feel those feelings. Listen, I really don't want to dwell too much on the weather, but it's been another monsoon, and it is like. I feel this sadness in my soul.
After our studio got flooded, we lost everything we own, and then we flew to Miami. That trip was ruined. The new live show was canceled. I think that I'm traumatized and I can't deal with it
has just been dark days.
Yeah.
But I am moving, and I'm going to have a way better setup for coming into my home without my wet dog, parking, the whole thing. I'll tell you guys all about it. But
all right, well, let's thank a couple of our partners. We'll jump into it. Thanks to Shopify for supporting Girls Gotta Eat. Shopify is a platform designed for anyone to sell anywhere, giving entrepreneurs like ourselves the resources once reserved for big business. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/GGE, all lowercase.
Yes, and this episode is sponsored by Quint. Indulge in affordable luxury. Go to quince.com/GGE for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's quince.com/GGE. And thanks to Article for supporting Girls Gotta Eat. Their curated assortment of mid-century modern, coastal, industrial, Scandi, and boho designs makes furniture shopping simple. Article is offering you $50 off your first purchase of $100 or more. Go to article.com/GGE.
So speaking of the rain, studio update.
Okay.
It has been raining for multiple days. It is not flooded in the space. So I feel like I cannot believe it. I'm so happy. I got on my hands and knees, went around that whole space being like, I see one fucking drop of water in here. Murder somebody. I mean, it has just been so much. There's people in and out of my house every day. Drywall people, demolition people, cleanup people, trash people. Today, there's a painter going there. Every 5 minutes, the owner's like, can I come over? I'm like, I hate you. But the space is dry. It's hollowed out. Drywall comes at the end of this week. We're going to paint. We have furniture coming. It is outside my house, sitting in the rain. Tessa and I are going to go home and get the boxes. Tessa's been so great. She came over this weekend and helped me carry boxes.
Oh, my God.
Under
Tessa.
the pergola.
Isn't
pergola such a fun name to say?
Tessa's your boyfriend. That's fine. And you don't even have to blow her after. Isn't that nice?
Only if you want it.
Isn't that nice, though? Someone's like...
The person you pay to assist you, assisting you? Yeah,
you're like,
great.
There's nothing else I got to do here. Just get her paycheck to her on time.
But the new chairs for the space are there. Everything is there. So in the next couple of weeks, we should be fully built out. All the orders are placed. We're ready to go. And Spotify has been very amazing in the meantime.
Yeah, they have. We hope you guys are listening on Spotify. Maybe it sounds better, you know?
Yeah,
We're here.
probably does.
It's probably, they probably do a little something to it when you're here.
Some to it.
Just sparkle it up, make it better. So yeah, let's keep it rolling with these like home updates. Rayna's home update is that we are rebuilding the studio in her home. Mine is that I'm moving. So I've lived in West Hollywood since we moved here, and I'm going to move over to the West Side, be a West Side girly. I'm going to be in Santa Monica, and I am so excited. I mean, I loved my house and my landlord and my neighborhood, but I just really want to be over there, closer to you, closer to the beach. Now it feels like all of our friends that weren't already over there are migrating over there, and I'm just like ready for a change and to just be on that side of town. And I just was looking casually. I knew I could probably keep on like a month-to-month lease. And so I was just like, I'm in no rush, but I did find like the perfect place. And I really walked in and it felt like home immediately. And I was like, this is it. Everything about it. There's just some really special things. I'm so excited. I have a fireplace. I have this huge like wraparound patio, rooftop deck.
It's so exciting.
And then a garage. Like the way I have to squeeze my car into my little tiny driveway.
Actually,
like you can't
crazy.
get out on the passenger side. Like I just show a photo. Like it is crazy. I have to like stick my head out the window to even get in there. It is wild.
Also, if your car is pulled into the space, I can't get up your steps. It's
like
actually
my mailman
insane.
the mailman can't get up to my door.
It is like parkour trying to like get up to your
Oh,
door.
it's such a joke. So I have parking for like 3 cars now, like in a garage. I'm like
that's
so
crazy.
excited. And then I'll just come up into my house so I never have to deal with this fucking rain and
That's
this
crazy.
wet dog all the time, just walking straight into the living room. So I am really so excited. And I have another female landlord. And that is the way to go.
God, I feel like I'm getting trolled.
Like my current woman who owns my house now, you know, she is so wonderful. We've like such a great relationship and I'm like gonna miss her. But like the next owner of the new home, I love her too. I met her. I'm just like, this is the way to go. I feel like they really like take you seriously. They get shit done if you need it. They're responsive.
Can't relate.
Like seriously, there's something about like I've had male landlords that just gaslight you. Like you've dealt with this. I feel like even
My
compared to
current
your
one?
in New York, you loved was a lesbian couple that owned your apartment in New York.
Couldn't have loved them more.
Exactly.
If anybody tried to fuck with me, they were terrorists. Even when I was like, it's really not that big of a deal, they were like, absolutely not. We asked for this and this will happen.
Yes.
And I was like, go off.
That energy.
It
That
was
is such that is
crazy.
the energy between my current landlord and your current landlord, even, which I mean he's gotten his shit together. But
Because I had to act like a psychopath.
like my landlord now is like, absolutely, we'll get this done. You shouldn't have to deal with this, yada yada yada. She is on top of it all the time. And I talk to you and he's like,
our
I think you'll be fine.
Our studio space flooded, and he recommended I get a maid service in there. A maid service to vacuum out a foot of water from our studio space. Maybe you get a maid service in there. I went so crazy. And I don't like being this version of myself. I'm not some like nasty, I'm gonna ride you bad bitch. Like I just want to like be kind and polite and ask for things to get done that are a reasonable expectation and have them be done. I'm not trying to be yelling at people.
Yeah, to be pushed to that point in the first place,
Yeah.
like shit has really gone awry.
Yes.
But yeah, can't recommend it enough. That's my rec for the week. Woman property owner. I'm really so excited. And
I
I
can't
like
wait for you to be near me.
oh my God, Rain, I'm like dying. I want to be there so bad.
I feel like I'm being so embarrassing. I drive past Ashley's house every day.
I drive by it all the time.
9-minute drive. I'm sitting in traffic. It's an 11-minute drive.
I cannot wait. I haven't had a walk-in closet in 8 years.
I know,
Like,
I'm
that's
excited for you.
crazy. I do well for myself. Okay, why? How does this keep happening? One thing on my bucket list before I do move out of the West Hollywood house.
What does it say at the top? Is that a bucket list?
No, this is just my notes for the intro.
Okay, because there's only 3 things on it. And I was like,
Well, I only have one thing on the list. There's only one thing on my bucket list.
there's only one thing on your whole bucket list. Don't get pregnant.
What? What? It's just a house. One thing.
No, I thought that was just your life bucket list.
Life?
There's
Can you
3
imagine?
things on it.
I've accomplished everything. I did it all by 40. No, for the house. So Sparkle Eyes is coming this weekend as we record, and it will be our last weekend in the house. And we love the house so much. Like the whole time we've dated, obviously, I've lived in that West Hollywood house. And never taken a bath in the bath. You know, I'm not a bath girly, and my shower is the most beautiful shower I've ever seen. So I'm always taking a shower. I'm going to miss my shower so much. But there's this also beautiful bath.
You're going to get that long ass man.
We're both going to get in there. We're both getting in there right now. I've already texted him. I started taking a bath this weekend. He was like, all right, say less.
I mean, you know me. I took a bath with somebody the first time we slept together. I'll I'll fuck with a bath, but I'm 2 feet tall. Like,
his legs in that bath. I feel like I need to get a photo for you. I'm gonna be like, keep your boxers on. I gotta show Rayna this.
One time you guys FaceTimed me a few weeks ago and you were like in robes and towels in bed. It was too sexy.
It was a little too
It was
sexy.
so sexy. I was screenshotting it and I was like, am I allowed to look at this? It's crazy.
So anyway, I have this beautiful bath. I'll show a photo for YouTube just so you guys can truly take it in. Oh, yeah, so I'm gonna put it on my OnlyFans.
And take photos.
That's my OnlyFans. It's just one video of us fucking in the bath. Like, you gotta pay for it. But yeah, I'm just like, I feel like I should have utilized this. It's stunning. So we're gonna get in there. But what do you think we should do? Like,
you're asking me what to do in a bathtub.
Like, first of all,
what do you think we should do? Finish the thought.
I'm scarred. I am scarred from your bath with no bubbles.
I was so hammered drunk. We had been drinking for like 7 straight hours, all bloated, just stumbling around, trying to like, I don't know, figure out how to get. My tub is really high. Like, I don't even know how we got in it. You have to get like a running start to get in that thing. It's so big. And yeah, we filled it up with no bubbles. So my first tip is bubbles.
That's fine. He tips. Don't DM me because it will have already happened by the time you guys hear this. But like, I want to make it nice.
Okay.
I'm gonna do some candles.
I lit 2 candles. We were too drunk to be playing with fire. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
I poured 2 whiskeys. But listen, you need bubbles. I know the Sparkle Eyes doesn't have a big fupa like that guy did, but if your man has a fupa and you're trying to look at his soft little penis and his fupa.
I know. Well, that's the thing. Like,
bubbles.
No one wants to see a soft dick floating in a bathtub.
No.
But also, if
I do
like,
not.
it's like, I'm just kind of thinking about the hard dick in the bathtub. All of it's funny. A dick in a tub is funny.
Also, like, we started having sex in the tub, like, no bubbles, and it's just the water sloshing back and forth. It's not sexy.
I think we'll do some like foreplay in the tub.
Tub foreplay.
And then
the tub is for foreplay.
Get out of it.
Take a shower and have sex in the shower or get in the bed.
Well, yeah, my shower, we don't have that handle for me to hold on to. Like, we've never really.
You got the handicapped handle at the new house.
Did I even show you the shower in the new house?
Yeah, you sent me and Sparkle Eyes a video.
Oh, of the 2 showers.
Yeah.
You guys, first of all, let me just tell you, I love this house so much. It's like a dream home for me. I have this like weird feeling one day I might buy it. Like, I don't know. I love it so much. The bathroom in the primary bedroom is so whack. It is unlike anything I've ever seen. There are 2 full separate vanities. Like, not a big, nice, beautiful double sink. Like, 2 full separate with dark wood.
You'll rip that out.
And then 2 showers
Rip it out.
in the bathroom.
That's crazy.
One is a tub. If like, I guess if you had a family and you need to put your kid in the tub, in the same, are you guys hearing me? Same bathroom, 2 full showers. Same bathroom.
We've really come a long way from living in New York, where my first apartment had the shower in one room and the toilet in one of the bedrooms.
We've really come. I mean, I think about my first apartment in New York. Like, there was no vanity to speak of. There was a mirror, like a tiny little mirror that I was just getting ready in. That's all I had. And like a tiny little sink. Like, I had to install things to put my like makeup and stuff on, like behind the toilet.
Yeah.
You know, like it was just a whole
You're like
thing.
35. You're like, everybody else I know owns a home and has children, and I have like my foot on the toilet and my elbow on the sink.
I was 35.
I know. I really, really love you asking me what to do in a tub.
You're a bath girly.
Well, you also think you're going to, listen.
If you ever need shower tips,
You
let
think
me
you're going
know.
to use things until they're accessible to you, and then you don't. Like,
You take it for granted.
I've lived in my house for 1 year. I've gotten in that tub 1 time. No one loves a bath more than me, and it's an enormous bathtub. I got in there 1 time, and I had to be blacked out to do it.
You know, your bath, I feel like you could set up like a laptop and like watch stuff in there. It doesn't have a flat.
Yeah, it has like a big flat.
Maybe,
thing.
I mean, mine doesn't have that, so I'd have to bring in like a separate furniture, you know.
You'll figure it out.
I'm
excited
surprised.
for
I'm
you.
surprised you haven't been watching stuff in your bath.
Well, I have a bedroom with a TV in it, so I usually
Wait, are
get
you
out
going
of
to
the
talk about
water.
your thing that you got?
Oh my god.
We'll also do a video of this.
You guys, I bought this thing for my
This is
bedroom.
more of Rayna's secret life.
If you guys watch Vanderpump Rules, you know exactly what this is. So I bought a Galaxy light. And I was wine drunk watching reruns of Vanderpump Rules, and there was like this whole storyline last year where Raquel got this Galaxy light, and people were like, "Where the fuck did this idiot get this?" And it was Tom Sandoval had like recommended it to her or some shit like that.
God.
But so I bought a Galaxy light. It is dope. So it has 2 different functions. It projects stars onto the ceiling, the whole ceiling, and then it projects waves, and the waves are different colors. So there's like blue and green and red and purple. You can pick whatever color you want, and the intensity of the waves and how much stars there are. I told this to a guy this weekend, and he was like, "What if you came over to my house and that was there?" Like, is that weird?
You'd be like, we're soulmates. What are you, matching galaxy lights? I feel like that's how you know he's the one.
Well, I already think he's the one. But so I bought this when I was like kind of wine drunk and I forgot and then it arrived. It was $30. And I bought the most expensive one I could find. It was $30 on Amazon. And I love it so much. The way that it like knocks my ass out is so good. Well, I mean, I like all this stuff. Like I listen to ASMR videos, just like ASMR Instagram videos of people just like tapping on stuff and breathing and shit like that, and like whisper talking. Yeah. And then you couple that with like 2 hits of a joint and the galaxy light, it will knock your ass out.
Well, so it's funny that you're just using the galaxy light recreationally. Like to me, it's like a sex thing. Like to me, it's a vibe for a sexy atmosphere.
Depends on the color.
Is that a red?
I did purple the other night.
I could see a deep purple, but red lighting is so hot. Is red light special to have sex too?
Yeah. Red.
Maybe I'll get like a lava lamp in my new room.
You're right. The red I would reserve for sex.
Also, I'm so excited for I can't wait for you to have sex in this galaxy lighting.
I'm in the minority for 2 things. He asked me if I like put on music usually for sex, and I was just like, it never occurs to me, not once, not ever. Like, you're such a music during sex person. What?
I don't do that anymore at all. I feel like I've told you this. I don't know if I've shared this in the podcast.
You just want to hear Sparkle Eyes Breathe?
No. No music anymore ever. If it's on, I need it off.
Okay.
I don't know what it is. Maybe it was a distraction for me in the past. Maybe it was something I needed to get in the mood. Like, I don't need it. I don't want it. I find it distracting. We have not played music our entire relation. Maybe like the very first night or something. And like, we'll lay and play music and take a nap. And like, we love music. We have like all of our playlists, all that stuff, but not during sex. And I feel like I haven't talked about this in the podcast. And I'm sorry for anybody who was like, Ashley, what are you talking about? That was your whole, sexual personality. And I listen to music.
Do you still masturbate to sex? Or do you still masturbate to sex?
I still will, but
do you still masturbate to music?
I still fuck myself every once in a while, but not even. I don't know. Like, it stopped being for me. It's funny how we change.
I mean, for me, I've never needed music or specific lighting. First of all, if there's music on, I'll fuck to the beat, and that's embarrassing.
Because you can't find it.
Like the rhythm,
like I just feel like it's Bad Bunny, and you're just like
the rhythm,
Aki.
Like that is how I will fuck to the rhythm, and that's embarrassing. Like the music slows down, I'll slow down. Like somebody at some point will be like, I know what you're doing.
Yeah. If someone called me out on trying to fuck to the beat, I'd be like, leave, lose my number, and never tell anyone.
Well, doesn't that just naturally occur?
I guess so. Yeah. I don't know what it is. It started being distracting to me. It takes me out of the moment. It's weird. I used to rely on it, but I really still feel like lighting matters. Like I love good lighting.
I'll have sex in any lighting.
Yeah. Candlelight. That's nice.
It's just like, I don't
Fireplace.
care. Listen, yeah, if I could paint my perfect situation, yeah, definitely. There's like a lighting situation.
Oh, hear me out. It's actually a fireplace because you have that little bit of sound, that like flicker sound.
Hear me out. YouTube fireplace.
Seriously?
Played it all day yesterday, masturbated twice.
Rayna, the stuff you do in your home, I will never get over. Like, there's these secret things you do that like I hear about.
I put on YouTube fireplace on Instagram, so you knew about it.
I guess I did.
If you guys go on YouTube, you can literally just Google fireplace. I don't know if you know this. And then there's 12-hour YouTubes that are just go.
Okay.
It's amazing.
I mean, I'll do it around the holidays, but maybe I'm going to bring it back. No, actually, I have my
real
fireplace.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, really quickly, I am just going to tell you about one of our partners, and we'll get back into it. I'm going to tell you about Quints. Okay. So we're obsessed with Quints, and it is such a wardrobe game changer if you want to upgrade to high quality, affordable pieces. So you really can get those luxury essentials that transition from one occasion to the next at great prices. So we've talked about them so much. And if you feel like you just want a upgrade to your wardrobe, maybe class it up a little, just give it some more quality pieces. Of course, we really so strongly believe in quality, sustainable pieces and not just succumbing to every trend and buying a bunch of like fast fashion pieces that are terrible for the environment and labor and all the things. So Quints really has great stuff, and you can get 100% Mongolian cashmere sweaters, the washable silk, their tops, their dresses, timeless 14 karat gold jewelry. Oh my gosh, it's a one-stop shop. And all their prices are 50 to 80% less than similar brands. So they partner with top factories to cut the cost of the middleman and pass the savings on to you. And they only work with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices and premium, eco-friendly fabrics and finishes. So I just feel like this is more important than ever. We were with a friend this past weekend, and she's getting like a higher education in sustainable fashion. I'm like, this is just so important. Mm-hmm. Like, I feel like I want to make it a rule in my own life to like make sure I'm only buying from brands that really do that. I'm going to look at some of their new arrivals now. Oh, they have great swim on here too, which we love. And of course, that washable silk is so great. I have this slip dress. I wore it so much during the spring and the summer. I'll put a denim jacket over it and just like call it a day with like a cute sneaker. They have this great jogger, stretch cotton twill utility jogger. They have leggings, activewear, hoodies, all the things. And of course, like the cashmere and the sweaters and all this stuff too. They have great stuff for men. I love their men's clothing. This is a great way for men to upgrade their wardrobe as well. And they have baby and kids and just everything. They have lookbooks. You guys can just peruse and see what you want to wear. They'll style some stuff for you so you don't really have to think too much about it. So I am definitely planning to indulge more in the washable silk as it gets warmer into the spring and summer. Probably going to get like 3-4 more of those dresses, get them in every color, and just like that's going to be my summer uniform. So you guys can indulge in affordable luxury. Go to quince.com/GGE for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/GGE to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/GGE.
Yes. And when Ashley and I started the podcast, honestly, like the furthest thing from my mind was how much we'd be selling things on an online store. And now we use Shopify all day, every single day for our merchandise and for Vibes Only. Shopify is a global commerce platform that helps you sell at every stage of your business. So whether you're launching your online shop or you have a huge full-blown retail operation, they will help you at every single stage. I mean, we have been using this for years on Vibes and Girls Gotta Eat merch. We use it for managing all of our inventory, every new product. They make it so easy to switch up descriptions and photos for the items that we sell. The amount of analytics and reporting it gives, I mean, we know what we sell at what hour of the day. Every
God.
I mean, I check those analytics 100 times a day.
The analytics are amazing, and the app is great too. I mean, I've been using this since 2015 when I launched merch on Bros Being Basic. And I just remember like this one holiday season, like we put out these shirts and they were like selling like crazy. And I just had that app. I remember just walking around Lenox Mall. I was in Atlanta and just my Shopify was going crazy and just watching the sales roll in. And it was just like this really special moment. I remember like taking a seat in the mall and be like, damn, I'm killing it. Like just people are buying the shit out of these like sweatshirts that we were selling. So I've just used it for, 8 years now. And I love it so much. And we don't even trust anybody that's not on Shopify. Like we once had a merch company that we ended up firing. Again, merch is always a journey. And we were going to like hand it over. They didn't use Shopify. It crashed day of the launch. Remember it crashed?
Yes.
And we were like, yeah, you should be on Shopify. Like it is just, we rely on it so much and it's so important to all of our businesses.
Yes, and it's fully integrated. There's so many plugins and you can manage every single order. You can refund people from there. You can manage discounts and then it runs your whole website as well. It's just, there's so many templates and tools and amazing things about it. Shopify powers 10% of all e-commerce in the US. That's unbelievable. It's a global force. It's behind Rothy's, Allbirds, Brooklyn, and millions of entrepreneurs, every size across 175 countries, including both of our businesses. So we can't really recommend it enough. We love it. It's the only thing that we'll use. It's the only thing we'll interact with.
I don't even know what other people use.
But it said 10%. I was like,
that's a ton if you think about the whole world. But yeah, to me, I'm like, I don't know anybody that runs like small, medium, whatever business.
I don't want to know anybody.
Yeah.
Ew. So sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/GGE. All lowercase. Go to shopify.com/GGE now to grow your business no matter what stage you are in. Shopify.com/GGE. And yeah, that's a good reminder for everybody that we do have great Girls Gotta Eat merch, cute hats and sweatshirts and mugs and wine glasses. And so you can shop that at girlsgottaeat.com. And there's a link to the merch and everything's there. And then the episodes and all the discounts for all of the partners as well.
And then, of course, Vibes Only. If you're new around here, we have a premium sex toy company where all of the toys are Bluetooth enabled and you can get into our app and you can have someone control them long distance and make for a little sexy long distance date. There's a battery estimator so your vibrator never dies unexpectedly. And we just have incredible toys. We can't recommend them enough. The Rayna is our #1 selling toy. And we have this beautiful new magenta color, so you guys can grab that. We have blow gels that have been flying off the shelves. We have our vanilla frosting blow gel, which is also vulva safe, so you can suck dick, eat pussy, have it taste like a sweet little treat. And the Debbie is wonderful. All of our toys are incredible. You guys have heard about them at this point, and we are working on bringing that cock ring back too.
Yes. So we have suckers available. We internal stimulation, external, and then the cock ring. Ashley glossed over it. It sold out in one day. You guys went crazy for it, so we're working on the restock. Hopefully in the next 6 weeks or less.
Yes, because that is a game changer.
Yes, and you can sign up for the wait list for that at vibesonly.com.
Yeah, and sign up for our newsletter, of course, vibesonly.com. If you guys are on it, we have a fun newsletter. We always put out like really fun content. We don't spam you, and then you can obviously stay updated on that restock because it's probably just going to sell it again, little freaks.
I cannot believe how freaky you guys are. We didn't know. We didn't know it was going to sell in a day.
A day.
You guys went wild for it. We went out to dinner with all of our girlfriends the other night, and every one of them was like, I want it so bad.
I know. Okay, so we had this incredible weekend. One of our good friends had, I mean, I hate even calling it a baby shower because I feel like that doesn't do it justice. It was a whole weekend-long event, and we knew she was doing her quote-unquote baby shower at Nobu in Malibu, which overlooks the ocean. It's unbelievable. Had the best meal there, and the bartender who randomly I had met before because he is the boyfriend of one of our listeners who she one time brought him to a show of mine at the Hollywood Improv. He's this like very tall, hot man, and I recognized her and she was like, he works at Nobu, let's go sometime. And like I've DM'd with her a couple times. It was just so funny. I was like, I know that guy. And so he was great. It was
so crazy. When she said like baby shower at Nobu, but then it turned into like all these people are flying in from all around the country and we're throwing this big barbecue on Saturday, which was also like 7 hours long. And then like baby shower at Nobu, then like rented out a hotel space to have drinks, and then like had pizza
the
and
after
more
party
drinks
for
at
the
their house.
The baby and then they had an after party.
And then they had an after party. You tapped out after like 8 hours. I stayed for like another 2. I love this so much, and obviously not everybody has the funds to have an all weekend long event, and their friends and family can't fly across the country for this. But like I think these little moments in life are so important to celebrate, and so I love that they turned it into this like weekend long thing, and it just was so much love and so many people and so much fun. And I mean, the first day we just had a barbecue at their house. It's not like they're renting out big giant spaces, and the after party was just pizza. We just sat on the floor and ate pizza.
Yeah.
But I mean, it just was so special. And listen, do whatever kind of baby shower you want. But I'd never been to a baby shower that wasn't just like a ladies' luncheon where you like open presents
and
up.
Stuff.
Yeah, but they had a co-ed shower and like a ton of people.
That's what I'm saying. Oh, you weren't there.
I wasn't there. I was getting a boob job.
Yeah, I mean, that they did that too. They just had a party. It's just like, let's make it fun. Like the guys want to celebrate too. You know, me personally, and anyone I know who in my circle, we don't want to watch someone sit around and open gifts. You know, I feel like I haven't been to a shower in a long time that you do that. I've not done that in forever. Bridal or baby or whatever, where you're sitting around in a circle watching someone open gifts. Most of the time now people are like, don't even wrap these gifts, you know.
She said you don't even bring gifts.
Yeah, well, they said don't bring them, but obviously we'll send them after the fact. But yeah, I mean, they put a lot of money into this and people flew in, and I feel like this was their like last hurrah before they have this baby. Of course, they're probably going to be the coolest parents and they're still going to go out and have fun and all this stuff. It's not like their lives are ending, but I feel like they really wanted to do something special for family, friends, and, you know, they had a bunch of house guests, and then they just planned all this stuff, and it was just like a full-blown, like, wedding-style sequence of events. It was incredible.
I also love this notion that like if all these people are flying in from over the country, like you do like entertain them all weekend.
Yeah.
You know, it was so funny. So I was looking at your Instagram story of the actual baby shower, and it was like all men. Your whole Instagram story was like me and Kat and like 12 men. I mean, there's so many men, tall, hot men at this baby shower.
Yeah, I know.
I loved it. I thought it was like a really fun idea. And so I think you should make your baby shower an all weekend event, and then I would come. I might even get you a gift. I bought them a gift.
You got to get them a gift.
I got
They spent a lot of money on you.
That's why I did it. She's like, I shouldn't have to buy you like breast pumps because you decided to have a baby. That is annoying to me. It should be my choice.
Well,
I bought Matt and Steph that playpen.
To each their own.
Yeah.
Yeah. One thing I did want to mention is Love is Blind is back.
Sadly, the new episodes come out tomorrow.
I know. And we're not going to deep dive on this because it'll be dated. The second set of episodes will have come back. But we love it so much.
My favorite season I've seen in years.
I can't even believe it. You know, because we talk about Charlotte, like
guys in Charlotte.
Not the girlies. We love our girlies in Charlotte. But just as a whole, kind of like tend to be more conservative, kind of vanilla bland. Everyone's all khakkied up, you know. And that is not the case. I mean, they found some spicy people. Like the guys and then also like the girls, when they were sitting around talking about the dicks, I was like, this is female bonding at like the top level. And they're funny. Mm-hmm. I love it.
It's hard to cast a reality show that I'm going to like because you need something that's good television, right? Like you watch people behave like Lala Kent on Vanderpump Rules. She's screaming at everybody and you're like, I would never behave like that, but that's good ass television. Mm-hmm. But like you get people that are too crazy and you're like, I don't like this. This is weird and unrelatable the way these people behave. Or you get people that you're always like, why don't people act more normal? But if you cast quote unquote normal people, that would be bad TV too. And they really like hit it out of the park this season with people that are like funny and spicy enough that it is great TV. It's carrying the season. I mean, this Megan Fox comment, she is just batshit crazy enough to have said that. But she's not a crazy person. Yeah. I don't even think it's that wild that she said it. I think it's unfair to talk about your looks on a show that is Love is Blind.
And just name the hottest woman alive.
Yes.
Yeah, I feel like I don't want to pile on. This poor girl, it has been nonstop. And she's like seeing all this. I'm like, I do feel for her. I mean, she's definitely regretting all that.
I mean, I think back to years of doing this podcast. I've said tons of stuff that I was like, I didn't mean to say that. That was a mistake.
Right.
You know, it just flies out of your mouth. I mean, you try to be recorded for 12 hours a day and not say something insane.
Exactly.
I couldn't.
I think you got to give these people a little bit of grace here and there. You know, like let's focus on some of them crazy male behavior like Matthew. Fucking psychopath. What? That was crazy.
I'm glad you brought that up because we're talking about bad dates and like not asking questions, and he came to the table with like all these questions.
But you had to select them and answer them in the right way, or he's about to walk out the room.
Because I actually don't take an issue with somebody writing questions, because I think we'll talk about it today. But like people that don't ask questions on dates, I'm like, there's a solution to this. You Google what questions to ask on dates, and you go to the date. Some people are just. They're neurodivergent, they're antisocial, or they're socially awkward, and they can't converse with a normal person.
We're not shaming planning for dates. I mean, there was a point, I was in my like mid-20s, and Kate and I were just dating on the scene, and we got together. We're like, we need to prepare when we get asked what our hobbies are, because I feel like we were going on dates, and guys were asking like, so what do you like to do? And we'd be like, get drunk. Like we literally got together to plan what we would say, not lie, but like we knew we had other stuff going on in our lives, but we were like, I need to plan out these answers. You know, like I feel like also someone asks you a question like, what's your favorite type of music? And your mind goes blank. You know, like it's fine to like prepare for dates, and we'll talk about that more in depth today. But anyway, we love this season so much.
And it is my favorite in a long time. I can't wait to see how it happens.
I feel like I have a controversial favorite
person.
Yeah. You know, I like Clay.
He's sexy.
He's I'm not trying. I don't want to be too horny.
Who are you gonna make Jimmy?
No.
Jimmy, who's Francis Ellis without a jawline.
Jimmy is Francis. So much. And then
I gotta show you guys this thing. I'm watching. There's so many doppelgangers on the show.
Oh, yeah.
And I will only refer to them. Like I feel like Jess looks like Brittany Furlan. Like I'll only refer to them as their doppelganger names. But I said to Ashley, like Jimmy looks exactly like Francis Ellis. He's a good friend of ours. He's a comedian, works for Barstool. And during the interview, he was like, she was asking him, who do you follow? And he was like, I follow a lot of comedians and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, I got to get into this. So I go to his Instagram to see which comedians he's following. The only comedian we have in common is Francis Ellis.
Wild.
How did that happen?
I cannot believe he's following. And then, like, do you ever see someone who looks like someone attractive and then you don't know if they're attractive or not? So obviously Francis is traditionally an attractive guy. He's a great, like, facial structure, good look, like, whatever. It's not really debatable. He could not be your type, but you can't really deny that he's attractive, right? You know, but
so hot.
I'm like, is Jimmy attractive, or does he just look like Francis? Like he's literally Temu Francis. I was like, Temu Francis out here. Temu Francis.
Temu was so funny.
So, but Clay, again, I'm not trying to get too horny about this, but Clay is every man who ruined my life in my 20s. Like was exactly my type all through college, all through like my earlier 20s. I mean, he's a D1 athlete. He ran track at University of South Carolina. He's like a 5X like NCAA All-Star. Like he's a real deal athlete. He's from Philly. I was like, oh my God. I looked at his Instagram. I was like, oh my God, he's not him at the Eagles game. I was like, I need to put this away. I need to put this away.
Sparkle Eyes, like, you can't watch Love is Blind this season.
And then like, I know that he's been a little bit problematic with some comments, but I also find him like weirdly like charming and funny. I know he's like, people are saying he's like a walking red flag. I'm like,
maybe you're not dating him,
but I just like, he reminds me of so many guys I hooked up with or knew like that or dated or whatever. So anyway, he's my pig, and don't come for me. I know you guys probably are like, but all the thing about the whatever.
It's what I've not heard a lot of people unpack? I feel like we have to do like, Ashley and I could do like 45-minute episodes only on Love is Blind. But I have one more question for you about Love is Blind, your thoughts on the scene. So there is a scene, first of all, they get so drunk at that like party where everybody meets. Everyone's so blacked out always, every season. So there's a scene where like Jimmy is talking to Chelsea about AD's body. Yeah. And he makes like a comment, and she seems like pretty okay with it at first. Like she seems to kind of just be like, yeah, she's looking at what she's working with, I think she's trying to be like, I think lots of girls check out girls with their man. And it's harmless usually, but it's usually not a man that I met 3 days ago who I'm engaged to. So I didn't see a lot of chatter about this, but I'm like curious your thoughts.
You didn't?
I only saw like one or two TikToks.
You're not
about
on
this.
the Shade Room then.
Oh, okay.
The Shade Room is covering Love is Blind this season.
Okay.
I mean, so first of all, AD has an insane body, and I think she's super beautiful, and I like that matchup, even just physically, her and Clay. Like, I think they look so hot together.
Love them together.
That was crazy to me. The way that Jimmy was like, look at her, she's stacked, like kind of like it was jarring to me.
Yes.
Like I would talk about that with my boyfriend in private. Like, I'm not a kind of person that's like, we can't check out other people. I could be like, her body. And he'd be like, yeah, damn. Like,
yes.
But there's all this stuff of you can kind of feel that he doesn't really find Chelsea that attractive because he keeps trying to convince himself and saying looks don't matter. Maybe he does. And it's not that I am saying she's unattractive. I'm not feeling the attraction between them. So for him to comment on this other woman's body and looks, but like did not feel I kind of was like, okay, well, she seems fine with it. But the way that he was just like, there's a delivery about that. There's a delivery that is just like, I am checking her out so hard right in this moment. And you feel the energy of, I wish you looked more like that.
The verbiage was really weird to me. Stacked. Like, it's kind of gross.
Down.
It's just like, we're not in a locker room with your buddies. Like, I'm not your friend. If I bring it up and I'm like, look at that girl's boobs, and we're at dinner and it's private and we don't know that person, fine. There's like tiers to it. Like, I've brought it up. It's a person we don't both know. We're in public.
I mean, I feel like it's weird to make a scene, really. I feel like their voices were elevated. I feel like everyone was looking. And to make a scene about a woman's body part. And listen, maybe she loved it. She certainly played it cool.
It's presumptuous.
And she's probably used to it. But like, I'm thinking about your boobs, for example. Like, I'm thinking about being in a social setting. Clearly, we're never going to be in a setting that is like Love is Blind. But being in that setting and like someone's boyfriend is like, Rayna's tits, huh? And then everyone is like, oh, yeah, look at those tits.
Actually, like full body chills.
Right. You know what I'm saying?
That's insane.
And like, you actually would probably play it cool.
I would, but I would be so mad about it after.
I know.
And I would be mad that the girlfriend didn't reel her boyfriend in. I'd be mad that he had the fucking audacity to say that anywhere near me. You could talk about me and my body behind my back or on the internet anytime you like.
I mean, I guess there's some world. I think Rob's always saying you got like hot little body, and like his wife's right there, but he's like a close
That's
friend.
One of my best friends. Yeah.
Like, right, exactly. Like there's that
His wife
too.
is
But
there.
I'm thinking of, I thought of you. I was like, all the settings we've been in, everybody and their partners, someone's out here like, hey, Rayna, those fucking tits, huh?
I hate it. I hate it.
It's the same thing. And I don't know. He felt like he had permission to do that because it is very, in your face. It's because it looks so good. She's wearing a tight dress. Like the vibe was very like, I'm allowed to or something.
Yeah, but like you're right though. Like the analogy for me is like if I were a low cut tight dress, no one's allowed to discuss that, and certainly not someone else's boyfriend.
Yeah,
and I'm not blaming Chelsea at all because she met that man 5 minutes ago. It's one of those moments where like you're trying to process it. You're like a deer in headlights almost. Yeah. Your brain is like, I can't even figure out what to do with this information.
I'm
fault her
at all for how she acted.
No, I wouldn't. I would just be like, I am on national television. I just met this man. I am drinking. Let me try to act okay.
Yeah.
And I think she probably was like, if AD has a problem with it, I will have a problem with it outwardly.
Yeah.
But I don't think any woman is trying to hear their man talk about another woman's body with that language so loudly and then engage with that woman. Like they think it's so funny.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Right.
I'm
glad I brought that up. But we feel like the last season was such a dud, and maybe even the one before that. I haven't loved a season like this in a while. So I'm like, go off, Charlotte.
I could tolerate the Seattle season.
What was
fine.
Before that?
I liked Chicago. That was crazy, obviously, with Deep D.
Oh, yeah, Chicago was good.
Oh, the third season was Cole and that girl who, what's her name?
Little Cuties.
The cuties.
The cuties. Cutie gate.
First season was Atlanta. Second season was Chicago. Then the third one was Cole and the cuties.
Okay.
Then Seattle. Then fifth season is only two couples made it.
Oh, right.
And now we're in the sixth season. Tessa's shaking her head, but I'm right.
So I have not been thrilled about the last two that much.
Yeah. Seattle. And no one liked the last one.
Seattle was
lasted.
the one where they only...
Stacy and that boy, the bald boy who didn't have any money.
Oh, poor boy. Broke boy. Broke boy. Can't get no pussy. Okay. Yeah, it's all coming back to me. Where were they? Dallas.
There was Houston and Dallas.
Texas, whatever. I got them all straight. Okay, so Seattle was the most boring, I guess.
Yeah, but like what I'm saying is like casting is hard because like those people are quote unquote boring because they're just like normal ass people.
Yeah. No, like, and also like healthy relationships can look very boring from the outside. There's like no drama, whatever. So okay, now I got them all straight. We'll do a power ranking at some point. But Charlotte up there.
I'm really liking it.
Yeah,
I can't wait. Well,
Atlanta and Charlotte, I love it. Love a little South.
Love to see it.
Okay, well let's talk about Article, and then we will get into our episode. We love Article so much. I got a recent haul that I'm so excited about, and I got that beautiful decor mirror. and that's going to go above the fireplace in my bedroom. So I'm so excited. I like art, and I got some like patio furniture. I really have always loved their patio furniture so much. And I got this really great filing cabinet. Like I have this desk in my house, and I was like, I just need more space for our sex toys, like that are like in, like I have them sitting on my desk, and I like to show off the boxes and things. So I got this really cute filing cabinet from Article, and it sits next to my desk and is like this perfect addition to my little office space. So we love it so much. They have such great quality, a great delivery experience. Whenever they're dropping stuff off, I've done it where they just assemble it and they just put it in my house where I want it. Everything is great. And again, they have all the types of styles you could want: mid-century modern, coastal, industrial, Scandi, boho. And they have a team of designers that really find that perfect balance between style, quality, and price. They're dedicated to thoughtful craftsmanship that stands the test of time and looks good doing it. Rayna got a couch recently that's gorgeous.
The PINNI Penny Ivory Wool Boucle couch.
Okay, it is stunning.
I love it.
You're a boucle ass bitch.
I honestly just bought some boucle curtains, and if boucle ever goes out of style, we're in trouble. But
no, I don't think that's a texture, right? I don't think
it's a texture, but I love it. If you like a stiffer couch, I mean, they have tons of different options. This is a little bit stiffer, but I love it. It's beautiful. The bottom is like wood. The color is ivory, and then Tessa actually managed the delivery, and the guys came in. They moved the existing couch for me. They unboxed it, set it up. Like I just couldn't have been happier. They took all the trash with them.
Yeah, and I looked mine up too. It's the Meron MERON natural wall mirror, and I just want to tell you guys. I mean, you can obviously look at the size yourself, but it is like 4 feet wide. It's big. I feel like there's this whole like what you ordered versus what you get, and something shows up, it's like teeny tiny. You're like, is this for a tiny home? Like, what is this? It's big. It's like prominent. It's really nice. It would go so great above a couch or a bed or a fireplace, whatever you want to do with it. So we just love everything. And again, I've been loving my new patio furniture. I got like a poof thing, like a ottoman for outside. So it's just really nice to like put my legs on. It's comfortable. I hate putting your legs on like a coffee table. It's uncomfortable. So yeah, they have fast, affordable shipping across the US and Canada. They won't leave you waiting around. Pick the delivery time. It's super easy to schedule. They'll send you updates every step of the way. And they have a great customer care team. Really all the things. So we have a discount for you. Article is offering you $50 off your first purchase of $100 or more. To claim, visit article.com/GGE, and the discount will be automatically applied at checkout. So that is article.com/GGE for $50 off your first purchase of $100 or more.
Okay. So we did this episode. What was it? Like our second episode ever 6 years ago. How to lose a girl in one date. I'd gone on this like terrible date. Yeah. And then I was dating in New York, and I haven't had any problems at all, clearly. We moved to LA, and I've been dating, and it has been a dumpster fire.
Oh, no.
And I feel like people are finding like all kinds of ways to be more terrible. So I feel like, we have obviously beaten to death like who pays and what to wear and who picks the place and like things like that conversation on a date. But like I want to talk about first date behaviors, and we crowdsourced you guys and we have funny stories. And I was thinking about like first date behavior, and I can only speak to men's first date behavior because I haven't gone on dates with women. But like I feel like there has never been more information available in the history of time for how to not act like a piece of shit on a first date, and you need to use it. I do not have tolerance for this stuff anymore. It's not like maybe they don't know. I don't care. Men run the government and the financial systems, and they can remember every single player in the NFL for the last 50 years, but you can't behave correctly on a date.
And every Marvel movie.
I don't understand it. Okay, I don't understand it. If you are not on time, being polite, asking me questions, bye.
I know.
I don't understand it. If you touch me in a weird, unwelcome way, bye. If you show up drunk, if you are on your phone, if you're more than 20 minutes late, if you are rude to the waitstaff, if you use this date as a therapy session, goodbye. I should not have to walk a fellow human being through basic human decency.
Go off.
Thank you
all
so
the way.
much. As long as somebody is polite and kind, I can deal with it. I'll give you a second date. There's all kinds of reasons why people are a little weird and awkward. I definitely don't have a no tolerance policy. There's all kinds of reasons why you are late. You can't make good eye contact. You're nervous. You're socially awkward. I get all those things. But if you don't have like basic human decency and conversation skills, I can't go out. I'm sorry. Goodbye.
Well, and just being rude or misogynistic or racist, what are you doing? Reel it in.
Seriously.
I mean, I guess it's good you're showing me who you are right out of the gate.
Totally.
But it is shocking. The stuff I have heard from you specifically.
Crazy.
Racist, body shaming women that are in the room.
It's crazy. Date number 1 is the sales pitch. If you are not bringing your motherfucking A game, date 1, what are we looking at for the rest of our lives?
What are you saying behind closed doors? Jesus Christ, put this person on a watch list. Like, this is nuts. The fact that you are showing the side of you on a first date. I mean, I don't even know, Rayna, what you have dealt with, like, recently is shocking.
It's so crazy.
In terms of, like, the stuff that people feel comfortable saying to a stranger.
Yes. And by the way, a stranger who they've never asked any reciprocal questions to. So I feel free to say anything I want about them because they don't have any idea who I am.
Oh, yeah.
They have no idea they were even on a date with me.
Right. Yeah. To not register.
I feel like date number one truly is like bring your A game. Like if somebody's not asking questions, and I do want to like unpack this, like what was the point of being here?
Yeah.
You already know everything about you. Ask me a question.
I really don't understand it. Like, right, why did you leave the fucking house? You know what I mean? Like, what was the point of this?
And I don't think it is unreasonable to simply cross somebody off a list for a lot of these behaviors. If you're going to be rude to a waitress, we're not going out again.
Right.
That's just it.
No, 100%. I mean, and again, like you said it, and I want to, you said it mid-rant, and so I want to go back and validate it. It's like, I really do understand people being nervous, being awkward, telling bad jokes. You know, like I really so strongly believe, and you know, my stance is like, if you like someone enough, you're mildly maybe looking forward to seeing them again. They were kind to you. They were respectful. Like, I think you should see them again, because I really do think people get nervous. And that could also be a reason for like maybe not asking you as much, but I think you can feel that. You know, like you can feel when that's the reason for maybe being awkward, or you might consider it like a bad date. But all this other stuff, I mean, it's just, I feel like it's getting worse out there. And like you said, more information on just what not to do, base level.
It's every TikTok on the planet. And I was like talking to a guy friend of mine about like why guys don't ask questions on dates. And he's like, guys are so clueless sometimes. And I'm sorry, I don't buy it. Like, I do not buy that men are just these totally brain dead idiots that don't know how to act in public, because men are just as capable as women, sort of behaving like a normal human being. And I don't buy this, like, men are so stupid, they can't. I don't buy it. Yeah. Like, they're capable of running their lives in every other aspect of their lives. Yeah. So there's very basic things that I just expect you to do. And I don't buy this, like, men are so clueless.
Yeah, but I mean, it's just like, if they're not asking you questions, that means they don't give a shit. And now you know. I mean, I think the blessing here is that someone does show you who they are on a first date, and you never have to go out with them again, and you have a story to share at brunch with the ladies the next day.
Absolutely.
So I think, I mean, the immediate red flags, like Rayna popped off about a lot of them, but it's that, like, anything that's like misogynistic, racist. I mean, you know, it's whatever your values are, of course, but I think we saw a lot of just like, he told me he voted for Trump, or just, I mean, I'm trying to think of a good example. Like, guys that kind of start to get in this rabbit hole about like, you know, how women are predators too, and getting very like men's rights. You had this happen to you. It's just like going down that whole world, not understanding like the way we have to move through the world at all, like not even trying to understand the woman's experience. You know what I mean? Of course, not asking questions. A big one for me is like not wanting to share anything and being weird about it, and like not offering you a bite. Like, I remember.
Oh, food. I thought you meant like personal information.
Oh, food. Like, I think it's so weird if you go to a meal, which also I don't really recommend for a first date, but with a stranger. But like, there's no sort of like, do you want to try this? That's crazy. That's crazy. And then late, I mean, you just a little bit. We'll talk about a situation. I had that too. And then being on the phone or like leaving the date for an extended period of time.
I just think that like you can give me 90 minutes of your time not on your phone. I would not touch my phone. I have zero tolerance for it. We did a poll with our listeners, and some people were a little more okay with it than others. I don't want you looking at or touching your phone while you can give me 90 minutes of your time.
I think we have talked about this before, because we have a friend, Morana's friend, who that guy had to take a call. He was gone for what, like the whole date?
She said he went outside for like 15 minutes or something and came back in and was like, I'll just be a few more minutes, and then like 20 more minutes outside. She said she just went and sat with the bartender and like ran up the tab and then left.
I mean, there's exceptions to every rule. People have like high power jobs. They manage a bunch of people. Fires happen. You got to put them out. I mean, you know, there are worlds in which really perfectly nice, kind people have to deal with something before a date, and it is more important than this stranger. You know what I mean? Like,
absolutely.
It's what it is. You know, like something's going crazy with your business. I'm trying to think of how I would handle it. It's certainly not leaving in the middle of a date and like it's casual. You know, at the very least, it's like, I am so sorry. I can't believe I'm this person. I have got to do this thing. Can we reschedule? I'll pay for your car home or whatever I have to do. And if I feel like I don't have the time to dedicate to this, I mean, whatever. It just has to be like overly apologetic and genuine. And that's how you know. If someone just feels like it's totally normal behavior that you just got up and took a call during a date, that's crazy.
I have a lot of tolerance for somebody being like, I'm really busy, I have to take this call. That's fine. You and I run businesses. I would leave a date. That's a stranger if we had something that I really need to do. But you probably wouldn't be able to reach me, is what I'm saying, for the 90 minutes. Like, I would just be like, I can commit to 90 minutes on a date with somebody. I'm not checking my phone.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not actually taking breaks to look at the phone. Because this person, like, gave me their time. So I want to, like, give them my time, too.
Yeah.
I guess I'm, like, really ruminating on, like, I think that, like, women's standards have raised. I think women have money and careers now, and they're having kids later, and they don't need a man to do any of those things, to have money or have kids. And I think that the standards have changed because women's expectations of what they want, what's acceptable, has changed. And maybe it's taking time for men to catch up. I'm sure there's tons of research and social science about this. But, like, I almost feel like the bar is so low now. Like, women's expectations went up, and, like, what, men did worse?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I haven't done a research study on this, but I mean, the older days of men was a little more chivalry.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
so it's like,
worse.
how is it? Yeah, exactly.
The stuff I've put up with is truly shocking, out of this world. We did like an episode a couple weeks ago about like different cities. I've dated men in Denver, Charleston, Chicago, Dallas. I've had really good experiences. New York, LA is the city I've had the most outrageous experiences of people truly saying racist things, body shaming other women in the room, like you said. This guy started a fight with me a couple weeks ago. It was so shocking. He spent almost 2 hours with me on the date. He never asked me one question about myself, and we are from the same town.
Well,
I met him on Hinge.
I was Pittsburgh Eagles fan.
Yes.
You mentioned it briefly.
Yes, Pittsburgh Eagles fan. First thing he does when he sits down, I was like, hi, it's so great to meet you, whatever. I said, so what do you do for work? He starts telling me. I'm not going to like put him on blast by saying what it was, but it was the description's in the name. It's like saying I'm a firefighter. I know that you fight fires.
Yeah.
So it was like that. And he was like, do you know what they do? And I was like, yeah, I have a pretty good understanding of what this profession does. You know, I exist in the world. And he's like, well, let me explain it to you a little bit better. And then he explains it for 20 minutes. I didn't fucking ask. And it was really condescending and obnoxious. And as he was talking, I said a couple things. Like, I dropped in like my business manager, my business partner. At no point did he say, what do you do for work? How do you spend your days?
Yeah.
Like, I understand that not every city is as, like, hustle-driven as New York City. Like, I can't imagine more than a 5-second conversation with a person in New York where, like, this is how I spend my day doesn't come up. But aren't you just interested in what somebody does day to day? Like,
no. Apparently not.
Nothing. Yeah. Absolutely not. And then he told me that he thinks that 90% of people in the world should not have children. And I was like, based on what? And he was like, well, for example, do you know how much of the world is in poverty? And I was like, well, I didn't grow up with poverty, but I think that what you're asserting is you need money to have children, and I don't agree with that. I didn't grow up with a ton of money. My parents were great parents. And he was like, no, do you know? Do you know how much is in poverty? Do you know? I was like, this is crazy that you don't even know me. Yeah. You don't know if I want kids or not. This is so weird. And then he got into a fight with me about women's safety and whether men or women are more likely to get into violent attacks.
Let's run the numbers. Like, what?
I was talking about feeling safe in my home late at night, and he was like, you think that you're like any less safe than I am? And I was like, yes, I think statistically people that like case a house and watch you walk in and out are going to watch me walk in and out and they're more likely to attack me.
Well, and they're more likely to attack me just walking home on the street
to my car.
Yeah.
And he was like, no, I believe that you believe that you're less safe, but you're not. And I was like, okay. I kept trying to back on. He was like giving me all these statistics, and it was like really aggressive. And I was like, maybe we just like stop. And he was like, I don't know why you're getting so upset. Tons of women that I've talked to about this don't get upset like you do. So maybe something happened to you in your past to make you get so upset.
Well,
I would what is happening?
My mind. I would flip the table.
I felt so much anger rising in my body. Yeah. I just like didn't know what to do. I like wanted to leave there so bad. And in retrospect, I just like wish I would have left. And I sort of like was like, what was the point of this?
Yeah.
What was the point of him like trying to prove this to me? You're not correct, and it doesn't matter. But why did I stay? But I flagged the waitress over, and I asked for the check, and he had 3 drinks and I did 2. And he was like, well, why don't we just split it, but I'll get the tip. And I was like, are you fucking serious? So she comes over, and I just hand her my card. And he was like, no, I'll get it. I was like, no, I got this. Thank you so much. And he was also fucking rude to her. And I had to go back into the restaurant and apologize to her.
Yeah.
It's so shocking to me that people can't just be like basically kind on a date.
Yeah.
And that guy is the fucking worst. And I don't think that he's like the norm.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It is just, I don't know. It's shocking that people can't like keep it in the box and keep it together for 90 minutes.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have a lot of that to speak of. So I want to come at it from a different angle too. You know, like we never want to be like all guys are bad, you know.
Oh,
like,
I don't think that. Yeah. Just one's in LA.
Yeah, I went on a couple dates in LA. No like dating app dates, no like straight up strangers. I mean, that's what we're talking about a lot of this. These are complete strangers. They did not come recommended by a friend. You know, they're not someone you sort of knew. You didn't meet them. Like when we talk about these terrible first dates, a lot of them are because it's a literal stranger you know nothing about. But again, we support dating app dates, you know what I mean? So it kind of goes both ways. But I was kind of like recounting mine where like nothing crazy egregious, just we didn't vibe, you know, but people were still like polite. You know, we talked about years ago, I went out with that guy, like it was kind of like weird COVID-y times and he had like the voice of Michael Jackson and I was just pulling teeth trying to talk to him. We were talking about candles. Remember when it started talking about candles? I was like, I gotta get out of here. Like, what's your favorite candle? What are we doing? I'm wondering if there's any ways to tell in the early communication, but like you have the same information as me. You know what I mean? Like I was just like, why does Rayna keep getting these situations? Like it's surprising because I have seen the messages back and forth with these guys and they're not reading like they're going to turn out like this.
No, I mean, the one guy was really nice. He actually said he had to stop by his son's Little League game because he was coaching it. I thought that's like so adorable. Like,
oh, right. That whole thing. Yeah.
He showed up blacked out drunk. Just couldn't have been more hammered and started body shaming every woman in the room.
So nuts.
It was crazy. And him and the guy a couple weeks ago were definitely the peak, like worst. Like I had a date with a guy a couple weeks ago and he asked me a million questions and he was like really friendly and nice. I didn't really vibe with him because I felt like I wasn't excited about like how he like sort of lives his life. He just, everything was just sort of like, I don't know, I live here because it's a place to live. I do this job because it's a thing to do.
Yeah.
And I don't think anybody thinks that I'm a person that like writes everybody off for every little thing. These have been like egregious situations, all of them. Him, just not my person.
Right.
But I would recommend somebody else date him.
Yeah. I had a situation, you jogged my memory on this because we were talking about like being late and it was a guy who I was really excited to go out with. And, you know, I'd met him in comedy and we'd been flirted a bunch in person. And he asked me on a date and he was like really great about asking me on a date. You know, he was like intentional about it and we like set a time and a date. And then I got there and waited for him for 5 minutes, for 10 minutes. I'm not hearing anything from him. And I was like, when do I leave? You know, like I was like 15. Well, at 10, I was like, 10 is weird. I'm going to message him. Like I'm here.
Actually, I don't have a no tolerance policy, but if you're more than 5 minutes late, I just want a text message that says like I'm running a little bit late.
You know, and also I'm like 10 is dragging. If you are alone, we were going to like an early dinner, you know, like no one's there. I'm like, it's very clear I'm waiting on somebody, you know. So by 10, I'm like, what is going on? So I message him and he didn't answer right away. I'm like, something's going on. He like fell asleep, he forgot, or he's like trapped underground. You know, this was in New York. And he just got the day mixed up. And then he tried to make it. And then by that point I couldn't. I think I was like going out of town the next day. And maybe I even had a show. But basically he was like, I'll get ready to meet you right now. I'm so sorry. I mean, he was really trying to make up for it. And he sent me like the longest voice memo. I remember playing it with you because he has a sexy voice. Remember you were like, why is that the hottest apology ever?
You should play it right now.
No, because he's like a person in the world. People would know his voice. But yeah, this is not one of those situations. This was like, felt like an honest mistake. I did not love it. Obviously, it turned me off, you know, and then it was like, I think I was going out of town and then I saw him again and then I don't know, we just didn't really vibe. We never really did like go out on that date. But people like ask about like when to wait. I'm like, without hearing anything, you can go after 10 minutes. That's crazy.
Just walk out the door.
No more than 15. I mean, do not. And I mean, depending on like, of course they're coming, geez, someone could have gotten like a car wreck, whatever the fuck. But the only thing I can think of really in New York is if you really get trapped underground. I mean, it does happen. It's happened before.
There's Wi-Fi on the subway stations now.
If you're in between, you're on the train.
Okay, fine.
You're in between, like you're not trapped in the station. You're trapped underground, you have no service. Like every once in a while there is a thing that it could be, but I don't know. If you're not in a city with an underground subway system, what could it be? You should have reached out. Like it's really rude and it's weird to assume that someone's going to be okay with it.
This is the audition.
Yeah.
This is when you should be bringing your A game. And I actually was talking to somebody and they floated something interesting to me. And he was saying like, it's all bad. Men that are like really charming and great conversationalists and ask a ton of questions and make good eye contact and they're really friendly and flirty. Like they do every single thing right. Like watch out for those guys too because they're like that with everybody and they're like too good at it almost.
Yeah.
And, God damn it, it's all bad.
They have moves.
But like
Clay.
I think that there's there's baseline stuff about like just be kind, be nice to the wait staff, show up on time, be dressed appropriately, like very baseline stuff. Like I was reading this article about like why men don't feel that they have to ask you questions and why women feel that they have to like fill the space with all the questions. And I do think there's like a number of reasons why they wouldn't ask questions. And Dr. Romney said they could just be a narcissist. I do think that people are really socially awkward. Not everybody's like you and I. We interview people for a living. I do think people are just awkward with strangers, you know? And the more impressed they are by you, your interests, your hobbies, your friend group, your beauty, like the more awkward they probably get. I got super nervous going on a date the other night. I was like panicked, but I read this article and I wrote down some answers about like when men don't ask questions. Men tend to compete in conversations while women tend to collaborate. So men are just a little more socialized to just be like telling you all their accomplishments.
Like peacocking.
Yes.
Yeah.
Women have been taught to modify their behavior while men have not. So women are just more compliant in general, where men don't necessarily pick up as many social cues of like, she doesn't like this. There's a subtle expectation that women and females are responsible for making conversation and making men comfortable. So, you know, they're supposed to be warm and chatty and, you know, they
like
drive
amenable up. And
So I don't think that's everybody, but I do think some men have been socialized like this. I don't accept it, but I think that that could be the case. And I think it's fine. Like, I don't want to trick somebody into asking about my hobbies and interests, but I do think it's fine to say like, so is there anything you want to know about me? And see how that goes.
Okay, a couple things on this. Have you ever been out with somebody and you like know they're just asking about you because they think they have to? You know they don't care. You know that whatever you're saying is going in when you're out the other. Like, you ever just, you get that feeling from a guy that does not give a shit, and you know that he's just like, fuck, I'm supposed to ask about her. And he just gives you the most just basics. So what do you like to do? You know, and you're like, I don't even feel like I should answer. I know you don't care. Have you ever had that situation?
I can't relate to it. I've only had 2 experiences. People who ask me 0 questions to the point that it is shocking, and people that find out what we do and ask me every question on the planet. Because you and I are like interesting and fun to talk about. We host this dating podcast. We own a sex toy company.
Yeah.
Like, people, I've only had those 2 things happen.
I feel like I've had those situations where, and
that's the worst.
Granted, you're not really vibing, but I don't think it is the worst. I think at least you're trying. At least you can sit there and be like, I think I'm supposed to do this thing. I'm going to try to appear to be like, again, none of it's good, but it goes back to the like, you know, you're supposed to do this. This is standard date behavior and you're choosing not to. And I think we've all been in those situations where we know someone is nervous and they're awkward and they're like, so what do you like to do? What's your favorite restaurant around here? You know, it's like almost cute. It's endearing.
Yeah, I wanted to do it with the guy recently. He had so many questions. And I, again, not my person, but it was like cute how much, it was like the most intense interview I've ever been to, but it was funny. He was like really into it. When you haven't asked me any questions in like 30 minutes and I've had 3 dates like this year, I just start playing a game with myself. Like, how long can I draw this out before I offer a piece of information about myself? Like, how long are we going to do this? I've had 3 dates here where 2 of them have no idea who I am or what I do or anything about my life. Crazy. And the 3rd one only knows because I like rammed it down his throat. And I don't know. It's not for me. It's never going to be like my kind of guy. Like, I think some people are attracted to like the strong silent type a little bit more and want to like be in charge of the conversation all the time, and you have to drive it, and you're in second place. They don't ask you a lot of questions, but it's not for me.
Yeah. And I mean, some guys don't like if you're funny, and that's when they feel really competitive. Like, I was hanging out with a friend of ours, Leah Lamar, recently, and she was talking about a guy like that where she was like, he could not handle that I would like work the room or tell jokes. Like, he had to be like the funny one in the room. So they're already triggered. If you come in hot, confident, funny, you have jokes, you know, you're charming and charismatic and a great storyteller, like maybe they're immediately on edge, some type of guys. You know?
I think so.
Like, whoa, let me put her in her place.
I think that just some people just don't like that. I was reading this text message exchange of a guy friend of mine and some girl he's sort of casually dating. He genuinely wanted my advice on like what to say to her. And I was like reading and I was like, is this the most boring fucking interaction I've seen between 2 people? You talk to this girl? This is crazy. And he's like, I don't know. I never really thought about it. I was like, did she say something funny ever? Does she ever say anything you can latch onto? This is crazy. And he's like, I never really thought about it, but I don't need her to be funny. I'm funny. And I was like, I've never related it less to anything.
So, yeah.
But I think that, like, he's just, like, I think he wants to be the funny one.
Yeah, that's fine.
I can't relate.
I'm sure he's hilarious.
Yeah.
So I want to read a few more off of the question slide we asked you guys on Instagram. We'll just roll through them. And some of these we've already gone through, but talking about their ex too much or just other girls in general.
You know, we didn't talk, well, 2 things. I want to talk about just oversharing, because I think some people do that sometimes as a way to like manufacture a connection. And I think maybe somebody said to them, like, you get close to people by sharing past experiences that are shared. And everybody has a past experience with relationships. So people might like overshare a little bit. You just know it when you see it. When somebody's crossed the line and you're like, this is misplaced, you've overshared information.
Maybe I need to walk it back. Am I your therapist?
Yeah.
Or am I trauma dumping? Because I will say that I've gone out on first dates with somebody and talked about previous dates. Like, you're actually right about the shared experience. Like, I've gone on, Hinge dates or whatever and talked about our previous bad Hinge dates. Like, I don't know. It's like we obviously are on the same dating app. That's where we met. Like, we do have the shared experience. Let's like trauma bond on that. And, I say that in a joking manner. But
that's not somebody you dated seriously. I will talk about this guy that started a fight with me about women's safety on a first date until the end of time. Yeah. But I don't really necessarily want to hear about your exes, your relationships. I should just, for a couple hours, I should be able to live in this space where like you don't have that. Yeah. Trauma dumping, though, you said, like, it also can feel really misplaced, and it depends on what they share. Like, okay, tell me what you think about this. This guy was telling me on a date recently about like his parents and his relationship with his mother and his father, and it was like a lot of like negative, traumatic stuff with them. It was a first date. I've been there for an hour, and it wasn't completely misplaced because he was asking me about my family and are you close with them, and I reciprocated the question, and he answered it honestly. I think it was right place, right time, because he was asking me and then he was sharing something about himself. I think it was a little too much. Yeah, but I still think he was sharing something about his life that I did ask about. Right. But like, where's the line?
I know. Where's the line? I mean, you got to just gauge how you feel. I mean, a lot of people wrote about them being drunk, like showing up drunk. You get there, they're already drunk. Like, it's such a huge red flag.
It's so crazy to me because like, I don't know if we talked about it on this show. I know we talked about it on You Up with Jared, where I said like my strategy that has been really good for me recently is that like if I have a date, I like to have another plan that night. So either I have like early drinks with somebody and then I have plans with people later, so you can get out of the date. Or you have dinner with girlfriends and then you go on a drink late at night. I like that, number one, the night's not necessarily always a wash. And, if it's bad, you're like, okay, I already did this other thing. So if I went out to dinner, I modify my drinking beforehand. I'm not showing up stumbling.
Well, exactly. But then again, let me walk this one back. Because if you're really young, I mean, we all know. I used to pregame before every day. But I was in college.
All of you are not in your late 30s. That is true.
Like, the drunkest date I ever went on, I think I've told this story before, but I was at class with a friend. I was like, you want to come over after and pregame? She's like, pregame for what? I was like, my date. We had a bottle of wine each. He picked me up. I called him the wrong name. I was stumbling out the door. My roommates were like, what is about to happen? And that's when we went to wing night. And I just ate all these wings. And we had beers. And he said, cheers to our first date. And I chugged my beer.
Listen,
chugged. I just took it down in one gulp. Why did I do that? In my head, I was at a tailgate. I was just...
Because listen, we're speaking from the point of view of somebody in their late 30s. Like, the rules are different in your early 20s. Yeah, I had a guy pick me up for a baseball game. It was a first date. I drank a Mickey's Ice malt liquor 40 in the shower while I was getting ready. And then he picked me up. I don't even remember going to the game.
Oh, yeah.
I was so drunk.
I
was 20.
Remember. Yeah.
So, some of these things don't apply to college students and people in their 20s. But that guy that showed up so drunk, red in the face to my date recently, that guy was like 42.
Right, exactly.
What's happening here?
I know. A lot of the same, like, rude to waitstaff,
Fell asleep in the cinema. That's how drunk he was.
Or just tired. Rayna, sometimes you're tired. I don't know. Like, when Rob fell asleep with me at a comedy show, he's just my friend, but I don't know. I fell asleep at the ballet. Like, sometimes you're just like, I hate this. I'm tired.
Okay, listen, you're going to pass if it's in a movie theater. What if you look next to you and the person you were on a date with was asleep,
also, a movie for a first date is a terrible idea.
I know.
So never. Hard pass. Why would you ever do that? You're literally just going to do something where you don't get to talk to someone. That's the actual top tier worst first date of all time. But I went on, this was my second matchmaker date. I went on 2. He was so tired and he was cool about it. Like, he was a really nice guy, but I could even see it in his eyes. And he had he was a busy, successful guy, and he was so tired. And he ordered an espresso martini, and it was his first one ever. And I was like, that is crazy. I mean, this is like a 43-year-old man. I was like, tell me you don't hang out with a lot of white girls. This is crazy to me. First espresso martini ever.
It's hysterical.
And he was just like, I don't know, I'm kind of tired, and I've been hearing about him. I'm like, this is it's kind of cute.
It's adorable, honestly. I would love it if somebody ordered like a weird drink on a first date. I think that's so cute.
But he was ordering also for the actual aspects of it. Like, he was just like, I'm trying to wake up, and he got it up. But I was also like, I don't know. It's one of those things where you're just you work really hard, but you still want to be able to date. You know what I mean?
You wanna work hard and play hard.
You work hard, play hard, and you show up tired. You fall asleep in the movies.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand a lot
Okay,
of these
I gotta ask you
things.
about this one.
Okay.
I don't know how you're gonna feel. Okay, he vaped at the table at a nice cocktail bar.
It's giving LA douchebag.
Is it bad? I don't know.
You act like you've been in a relationship for 10 years.
Rayna,
Can you imagine?
But I see people vape all the time. No, don't give me that. Like I'm out here like, I don't remember. I'm in a relationship and I would never, oh my God, you girls on these streets, you poor things. I have a boyfriend. Rayna, I'm just saying, I didn't know that I feel like people vape.
I feel like that is case by case because I feel like a lot of women vape. So
Yeah, I feel like I'm going to get dragged for
it's
this.
a personal preference. That's how I feel about it. I think it's an obnoxious behavior in public sometimes.
Yeah.
In a bar, in a closed setting.
Well, I guess I'm picturing people that like do a subtle puff.
Well, let me ask you.
They're not like really huge production about it, blowing out smoke rings and like flavored smoke. Like I picture like
there's no subtle puff really.
Okay.
Because it's colored, you know? Well, let me ask you. You're sitting at a cocktail bar. Like you're on a date with your own boyfriend. You're sitting, the person next to you is vaping. Do you like that?
Yeah, I guess not.
So like, I feel like I definitely wouldn't want the person.
Yeah,
I'm
you're right.
with.
I guess it's just like smoking inside. I don't know.
Yeah,
but it's, the smoke doesn't bother me as much. I mean, cigarette smoke, forget it.
Yeah, I guess it's personal preference. But if somebody really hated it, I would not like it.
Okay. Well, it's funny to think about someone asking, "Do you mind if I vape?" Maybe that's the answer.
But listen,
maybe
if
that's
I'm
the
drunk
solution.
enough,
You just ask.
I always vape if I'm drunk enough.
Would you vape on a date at a nice cocktail bar?
No, but if I'm drunk enough, I'm stealing everybody's vapes. All the amount of vapes I've stolen from Rob and our friend Gino, I throw them in the trash when I'm done with them because I can't have them in my home.
Yeah. Okay. So I want to share a few tips on how to leave, and then we want to get into some stories from our listeners.
Okay.
So you can just leave. You can always just leave. You can always be as honest as you want. I think there is never anything wrong with being honest and direct, but sometimes you don't want to deal with that, which is like awkwardness at best and anger at worst.
So I think I didn't leave that date the other night because I just didn't want that guy to think he like got the best of me.
Whatever your reason. Listen, if you don't want to leave, also don't leave. Like you should take yourself out of any situation where you feel like you're in danger.
Yeah, I felt
but
safe.
Don't blame yourself. Like we got emails of like, I'm so mad at myself that I stayed. Don't beat yourself up. These situations are awkward. I am telling you to handle them however you feel comfortable. I'm telling you these are circumstances where you can lie. Whatever you have to do to feel comfortable with someone who is making you feel uncomfortable, you can do. So no matter what, obviously the best you can remove yourself if you feel physically like you're in danger, but I feel like you can be as direct or as cagey as you want. And my strategy, which I think is like the most foolproof strategy, is you go to the bathroom. That's your safe space to regroup. You take a deep breath, and then you emerge from the bathroom with your plan, and then you go over to the table, the bar, wherever you were, and you're standing. You're ready. It's weird to get up and make a scene and leave. Like you're standing and you're ready to go. You took your purse to the bathroom with you. You know, maybe if you have a coat, it's on the chair or whatever. And you just say, I'm so sorry, something has come up and I have to leave. Guys don't know about our bodies. They don't know what happened in there. They don't know what you did in there. You could be bleeding. You could have pulled your IUD out. You could have taken a pregnancy test. Now you got to go. Like, they don't know about what happened in the bathroom with our bodies. So you could always just kind of go under the guise of that. You can say, sorry, I just found out my cat is throwing up. My dog is throwing up. Like if you already said you didn't have pets, well, now they know you're lying because they suck. But like whatever you have to say, like of course you can do the someone texting you, someone calling you, I have an emergency. But like sometimes it's weird to deliver that lie. Like, I mean, I've done lies here and there to get myself out of uncomfortable date situations. But to me, I feel like the bathroom is your safe space. You go there, you make the plan, and you leave. And if you feel like you just want to not have them have anything on you, give them a 10, give them a 20, whatever. If you feel like you want to go out with cash.
Bring cash.
Yeah, if you want to do that, you don't have to do that either. And that's my tip for how to handle it. Like, remove yourself in a non-awkward way, which is just got to go to the ladies and then come back out and just go. Like, they're not going to chase you out of there. Like, they can't say anything to you if you say, I'm so sorry, I just have to go. Like, the vibe is like something went down and I got to get out of here.
I like that my pet threw up. I saw on the security cam that my pet threw up. I got to go.
You could do that too. I mean, again, it's like whatever your comfort level is. Like some people are like, I'm a bad liar. I can't do this. I can't deliver this. Then don't, but there, you could always have that. Yeah. Like, oh my God, my pet cam, my dog is sick, or someone just called me and something's happening. Like, don't get too involved with the lie, because then you're just going to psych yourself out. But you can just say like, I got to go. They just don't know what happened in the bathroom.
You're right. And you rip the Band-Aid off. It is one of those things that just is going to be awkward. And the second you walk outside and taste fresh air, you're going to feel better.
Yeah, like, and I mean, the guy, Michael Jackson voice candle guy, I can't remember if we had one drink or two. We were at the Standard in the East Village, and I just was like, all right, well, I think, I got an early morning. I'm going to call it. Like, he didn't fight. His personality was also not one that was going to like fight back on me. And because that's the thing, too. Like, if you're picking up on those red flags and those cues that someone's going to get angry at you or start, insult you in some way, like, yeah, you want to tread lightly or not. I mean, or fucking fight with them. But I think we as women, we don't want to open ourselves up to that. We don't want to feel unsafe and like someone's going to have some vendetta against us, or they're going to be aggressive towards us. So, I think that you're on a date with like a nice guy, like you might feel bad, but it's so easy to just be like, hey, I'm going to call it. It's really nice to meet you and let's go. I mean, dates with strangers are just getting to know someone to see if you vibe, like one drink max.
Yeah, I don't need to. I've stayed for two on a few. The guy who showed up so drunk, I had one drink, and then the bartender came over and I asked for the check and I offered to split it because I mean, you know me. If I'm never going to see you again, I'm perfectly fine to split a check with you. That's fine. Mm-hmm. I was like, let me see the check. We'll split it. And he started in on me like, I know what this is. I know what this move is. This is the I'm never going to see you again move. And I was like, thank you for saying this, because now I know that I made the right decision to not talk to you. Yeah. That guy that I got into the fight with, I didn't want him to have a moment where he thought he just landed on the one psychotic woman in LA that was going to storm out. I wanted him to feel like I was and you do what you want, but in the moment, I wanted him to think I was a very rational, very steadfast person that was like, I'll sit here for the next 10 minutes with you, and then I'll pay the check, and you will never hear from me again.
Right.
Because in the moment, I wanted to like get up and storm out, and if that's how you feel, you should. If somebody crosses your boundaries, get the fuck out of there. But I was just like, I'm rounding down my second drink. I'm about to leave here in 10 minutes anyways. Let me just call the check.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's my tip for how to go.
I love it.
And we're going to share some of the stories that you guys emailed us.
Yes. And you guys have asked for more dating stories, so we are committed to more of them. Yeah. And we are really excited to do more of these. So we asked for first date bad stories.
Okay. So she writes, this is actually a second date, but hear me out. She broke the rules, but it's okay because it's a good one.
It's amazing.
How is this a second date? Okay, first date was decent enough to go on a second. At least at that time in my life, I was okay with decent, bless my mid-20s self. I was in Uber on the way to the date, and he texted me saying he got 2 seats at the back of the bar. So I said, great, see you soon. Then he texted me the following. He said, actually, I just ran into some buddies, so I'm standing up talking to them. I'm wearing a green shirt and a white backwards hat. Also, I shaved my beard a little, so I look kind of different. Me wondering why he described his outfit because I had already met him, and why he's wearing a hat, and if he expects me to hang out with his buddies. Right, she's already met him, so it's a little sus.
This is hysterical.
Okay, she says, okay, I'll be the blonde in the red jacket. Ha ha. I like her response. So I walked to the bar. I see a guy in the green shirt and a white hat standing with some other dude. So I went over to him, touched him on the shoulder, said hi, and started going in for a hug when I realized he wasn't the date I was meeting. So now I'm standing there with 4 dudes staring at me like I'm insane. I look at the bar, and the jerk I was meeting is sitting there dying laughing. He had picked out a stranger in the bar and described him to me so that I'd go up to him instead. Now I have a great sense of humor and I love to laugh, but purposely embarrassing someone is not funny. I should have left, but I stayed for one drink. When the date went to the bathroom, the guy sitting next to me was like, I'm sorry to eavesdrop, but did I hear that correctly? Did that guy just do that? Then he asked for my number, and we went on a date a few days later. I wish I could tell you that guy number 2 ended up being my husband, but I met my fiance years later drunk at a bar. He's the funniest guy I know, and he's never had to trick me to prove it. That's hope, everyone, I promise. What a perfect email.
I know, it's so perfect.
Okay, how do you feel about this?
Listen, a lot of things, like, how did this guy even come up with this? Like, is this the first time he's ever done this?
Creativity.
It's pretty creative. Like, how did he's sitting at the bar alone. He's like, I'm going to run a joke on this girl.
And then he's like, uh-oh, better tell her I shaved my beard down. Like he went so hard on it.
Also, he has to bet that when she walks in, that guy is still standing with his back to the door, that she won't see the guy's face first. And then he's going to still be standing there with his friends. Like, he really has to, like, count on a lot of things happening. What if that guy leaves in the middle of this or something? Like, and then it falls flat, and then you're like, why did you make this up? It's so weird. Like, it's so strange. I can't think of, like, a personality trait I can attribute it to, because it's weird to want to, like, make somebody the butt of a joke on a second date.
So here's the thing. This is just personal preference, because you sent me this couple on TikTok or Reels or whatever the other day that like constantly they put like balloons filled with like
powder
paint
and shit.
and paintball stuff.
That's
and
their thing.
That's their thing. And they found each other and I couldn't be me. I find it disgusting. I was like, that guy stormed the Capitol. Like I was like, that woman's husband stormed the Capitol. And then I got so mad about it and then I realized she does it too.
They find creative ways to like explode
Fuck with each other, but like
paint.
But like, you know, cover each other in shit. You know, like I don't know how they're getting through the world if they like have to shower every time they walk through a doorway.
I feel like it's just a bit. Like obviously they know it's happening.
Right, it's probably a bit for social media. But I'm saying like this couple found each other. Like there's girls that would be like, that's hysterical. And like there are
on a second date?
Listen, I don't know how, again, she said the first date was only decent, but like it just depends on the rapport they had, which it sounds like they didn't have it. You know, like this is a read the room type of thing. You know, if you went on a first date with somebody and you realize that you both really like to prank and you're both tricksters and you want to do this thing, that's the move. You know, like, I don't know. It's like he didn't read the room. They were not vibing and this is not her guy. That's how you know.
I agree. I think if first date was great and fun and we laughed a lot and the banter since that first date was really funny and like I feel a little bit of familiarity with you. If you fucked with me on a second date, I might think it was funny. But it depends on how the first date goes.
It absolutely depends on the person. I mean, two people can do the exact same thing, say the exact same thing to you, and they're received completely differently.
Yeah.
Because of the relationship that you already have, because of what you know about their personality. I mean, I don't know. Like, there's a world in which if I already felt like I had a vibe on this person, I trusted them, I just knew they were trying to be funny. Like, this could be really funny.
I mean,
like it's the same thing as like tripping and falling. You know, like I don't know. Like it's just kind of. But then there's a point where I'm like, oh no, not at all. That was not the vibe. Like you just embarrassed me, and I'm out.
We had no vibe first date. Yeah. I'm not
it's
receiving
weird.
This well.
Yeah.
But like even also if we've like a little more familiarity, you're a friend of a friend. Maybe I've met you before. First date was fun. Like I don't know. There's a scenario in which I'm just like, this is so funny and really gives us something to talk about for the first 15 minutes of the date.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, have you done this before to other people?
Right.
How
I need more
information,
you know, on this guy. But I love her email and I love that she talked to the guy next to her and then like, but now she's got her fiance and all the things. Okay. I'm going to do the next one. Then Rayna's going to end with a real zinger. This is my favorite one. This is my personal favorite. Okay. First of all, I love you both. The messages you put out each week. I'm so cute. Okay. So here's my first date fail. I'm a recent graduate of college, live with my parents, but have still tried to make the most out of it by using dating apps. I met this guy in Bumble. We hit it off. We talked for a little before agreeing to go out on a date. The day before the date, he makes comments about the need to clean his car for me. I assumed this meant taking his car for a car wash, which I thought was very nice but unnecessary unless it was a wreck. The night of the date, I text him telling him I need a couple more minutes, and since he was early to pick me up, he says, no problem, I'll drive around. When I'm ready, he picks me up and we start driving down the road. As we do, I notice a bunch of Starbucks cups on the side middle of my quaint neighborhood road. Normally, I wouldn't have noticed this, but I had walked my dog earlier that day and didn't see them there. This is so me. Like, I would be like, what is this? Evidence? I didn't see this when I was walking Azul earlier. When I look down in his car, I notice a half-full Starbucks cup that he is casually sipping on as we drive. I make a mental note, but I try not to jump to conclusions. We go on this date and get along well. Could have been the 3 glasses of wine I had, and he drives me home. And just as I am starting to get comfortable with him, we pass the Starbucks cups again, and every ounce of my body was repulsed again. I hug him goodnight and go inside and need to tell my parents about this. It's so funny to come home and tell your parents. Also, like, by the way, like Cindy Hasseltine, like the environmentalist she is, she'd be like, oh, fuck no. Like we are the hardcore don't litter family.
Oh, my mom too. If my mom ever saw me like toss a thing out of the car,
I have a question for you after this. Okay, I have a great question. I have a question I love to ask people. Okay, so anyway, my dad convinces me to go find the cups to confirm my suspicions. When I walked to go get them, sure enough, his name was plastered across the top. Like there's Starbucks cups, his name's on them.
Ashley, you would love this because you're the FBI.
This is the best, investigation ever. I'm obsessed with this. I struggle with what to do about this. My sister and friends kind of told me to laugh it off and give him another chance. So I did, and he stood me up 15 minutes before the next date. Oh my God. Safe to say I should have listened to my gut when it came to the littering.
Brazen littering is so shocking.
So it is hard pass, red flag. I don't care about anything else. So I used to ask this question to people. Let's say you're dating someone. You're in it with them. That's your boyfriend. You're like, in love, or you're falling in love, or you are into them. You go on a road trip and you get fast food, and then they just throw the bag out the window. What would you do?
Okay, would you rather out the window or into the back of the car? Both of them are horrifying to me.
In the back of the car?
Yeah, you just take some like half-eaten food, crumbled up trash, and toss it into the back of your car.
Well, if it's like
both of them are horrifying.
But if it's just you're gonna throw it away later, you're just getting it out of the front.
I guess it depends what the state of the car is. Is there a bunch of food and cups?
If you have a bunch of trash in your car, also no.
That's what I'm saying.
I went out with the guy in his car. I couldn't believe it.
I know.
I was like, are you living in
I
here?
know.
Unbelievable.
Also, this
and
guy.
by the way, my car was a mess when I was younger. Like
Not me.
used
Couldn't be me.
I mean, when I was in my 20s, like my car really was a mess. But like at this age, I'm like, car can't be filled with shit. For me personally. But the littering, Rayna, like I think about this. This is one of those things that's like never happened to me, but it could keep me up at night. Like,
It's like a
what
bad
if you were like in love with somebody and they just did that shit? Like I would be like, pull over right now. We have to talk about this.
I know. It's just when
if you promise to never litter again, I guess.
No, when you're disobeying just like basic rules of being a human being on this earth, society, like I don't like it. And I'm not such a rule follower. I'm not. I'm more of an ask for forgiveness later kind of person. But if I see you just toss something out of your car,
I would be in New York sometimes, and I remember one time this guy, he had like bought like some like headphones or something, and he was walking down the street and he just like opened them up and tossed like the plastic packaging on the sidewalk. Like the rage that filled up in my body, and he was just like a big kind of like scary looking dude. I was like, I'm not gonna do it. Don't do it. Like this won't be safe for you. I picked that shit up and put it in a trash can. I get so fucking mad about it. It is truly one of the most disgusting behaviors I can think of. It's just brazen littering.
I mean, I just don't understand it because there is an alternative on every block for where your shit can go. It actually is so shocking. We got one other email. I'm not going to read it, but like this girl was talking about how a guy told her that he boards early when they call for military personnel.
And disabled.
Because they can't check. Like she said legally they can't really ask you to like prove it, you know? And I was like, that's another thing. I just would never in a million years.
When people tell you who they are, do not just gloss over that kind of stuff.
Crazy.
That's a really gross quality to pretend to be military or disabled or like,
to skip a line. You'll be on the plane in 5 minutes.
Yeah, no.
Insane.
Well, probably not. That person's probably like Zone Z.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Sit in the lounge and have a drink.
That person's probably not in the lounge. Rayna, be for real right now. You know that person bought an economy seat.
As I said lounge, as it was coming out of my mouth, I was like, that guy's not in the lounge. Okay. Speaking of rules of society, this email shocked me to my core. I screamed out loud in the house. Okay. A decade ago, I just moved to Montana from Seattle for work, fresh out of college. Not to sound dramatic, but it was a culture shock going from a big city to a super small town and seeing all the same people everywhere. There was a hottie I kept eyeing at the gym, and then one day we were both at the same job site. I learned he was a firefighter. Before our work days were done, he asked me out to dinner. I was ecstatic. When the day came, he picked me up on the way to dinner. We saw a young deer get hit by a car. He pulls over immediately. I started falling in love because I thought he was going to use his first responder life-saving skills to save the deer's life, and maybe we would take it to a rescue somewhere.
Not the rescue.
But instead, he pulled out a Glock he had strapped to his chest under his button-up and shot the sweet, young, angel-faced deer point blank in the head. You guys, are you screaming? Are you screaming?
She screamed?
Screamed. She says, I screamed from the car. Yeah, a person set off a gun in front of you. He came back to the car covered in blood splatter. He ripped off his button-up to wipe his face off and threw off his strap and ended up going to dinner at an upscale restaurant for Montana in just a white tank top. And all night I kept staring at the little blood speck he'd missed almost right in the middle of his forehead, mortified. Back to the culture shock. The local girlies I worked with at the time were incredibly turned on by this. Is this unhinged or am I a sensitive city girl? I don't know. I think that it is personally reasonable to not expect a person to set a gun off in front of you. I don't think you're just some like weak ass city bitch because you're like somebody set a gun off in front of me. I didn't like it.
That's Rayna's ick. She's like, he shot his Glock and it just didn't do it for me. Okay, first of all, this is giving Buck. And I'm not just saying that because it's a deer. It really is like, Buck's always strapped up. And here's the thing. Was he doing it because you need to put it out of its misery? I mean.
Totally. You got to give me a heads up. You got to be like, you got to come back to the car.
That's your issue with it, not the warning shot. He didn't warn you. That's your issue. Your issues with this are so like people are sitting here being like, "Oh my god, he killed a deer."
But he didn't kill a deer.
Yeah,
like what he was doing, he actually thought was humane. He was helping an animal that was dying be put out of his misery.
Yes.
And if you have a weapon, like I understand being like, I don't know how to take care of this. I have dated men that carry guns. I've dated men that sleep with a gun next to the bed. Like I really just take issue with you not warning me.
No.
I mean, I think he thought it was humane. And then he takes his shirt off, there's blood on him.
He's covered in blood. Can you imagine that ride to the restaurant? You're like the way I wonder what he thought was going to happen when he got back in the car. She's going to suck his dick.
Like, yeah.
And she is just sitting there like, she's just like, Mom, can you come pick me up?
Like, obviously with gun control, I think that these things should be regulated very highly.
Oh my God,
I dated somebody.
People, yeah.
Yeah, I dated somebody that used to carry a gun. I'm like, who are you going to shoot at brunch? This is crazy. Like, you don't need to do this.
You know what's crazy? Like, Buck is also a firefighter. Did Lindsay send this? Wait, be for real though. Did she just change the names?
Yeah, Lindsay texted me the story.
I mean, it's giving him just because I know that, he is a first responder and like he does carry a weapon. He said multiple knives taken at our live shows. Buck has had 2 really nice knives confiscated at the Beacon.
Separate live shows.
How does he not learn? It's like a dick move. Like, you should let him take it back to his car, but whatever. Yeah, that's in New York.
Also, like, if this was like my man and I had been with him for years and I know that he has a gun and like I'm from Montana and I know this is just what we do. We see somebody hit an animal and of course he's going to shoot him. Like, I could also see first date, you got to warn me you're about to fire a gun.
Okay, so I feel like I need more information.
Yeah, are you supposed to call like animal services?
I'm not sure, but like, what if he put it in the back of the truck and he was like, I'm going to put that on my wall? Like, what? Like, this could have gone so many different ways.
Can you imagine?
You know what I mean? I'm going to send this to Lindsay and ask like exactly like, what if Buck did this on your first date? I mean, yes, he should have come back in and be like, hey girl. But it's so how you were raised.
I could see Lindsay being like, of course my husband is going to take his gun and shoot this. He's a first responder. Like, but she knows to anticipate it.
Yeah. Well, and then call somebody. I mean, I just hope there's a world in which also this was not being humane and this was a show off type of thing. And there is a world in which I want to look at it from that side of like, this is a world in which he saw an opportunity to shoot off his gun and do a thing he thought was going to impress this woman. And it obviously was the wrong move. But anyway, we'll never know.
That is so crazy.
She's so funny. She goes, am I just sensitive? That is so funny because she's from Seattle. Picture a Seattle person doing that.
Barely raised their voice there.
The least. I can see someone from every other major city except Seattle.
Boston. I'd just be like, Boston's going to Boston.
Boston's going to Boston. Where'd you even get that gun? It's like they give them to us. In high school.
Wait, can I tell you, speaking of Boston, I got this funny DM today. This girl's like, hey girl, scrolling back through old episodes, I'm trying to nail down some Boston hotel wrecks. But she messaged me.
Oh, that's so fun. Well, but we performed there a lot. I wrote her back.
I'm glad that you did. You're the one that goes to Boston.
Yeah.
I thought that was funny. We can cut that. That's not funny.
No. I'd love to give my rec.
Okay.
The Seaport Hotel.
Okay.
I love the Seaport Hotel. I love Seaport. We've done a little staycation in that hotel before. I can't recommend enough.
Okay.
Not the Langham. I'm going to say it. No streaming. No Chromecast.
Also, don't stay at the Pendry in any city.
Yeah, fuck that.
That's also my rec.
There was one, I'm not going to read the whole thing, but this guy took his shoes off at dinner, and it was horrifying, and that's crazy. That's crazy. Unless you're on the beach in the sand.
And you guys, the photo is so disgusting.
Yeah. Oh, they were just at like an Indian restaurant. Yeah, hard pass. Again, you're on the beach. You're at like, the Rusty Pelican in fucking St. Pete, Florida, maybe.
Yeah, sure. Time and place.
Okay. Well, this is fun.
Yeah, it was. It was a good time. Listen, I know we talk a lot of shit, but it isn't all bad out there. It just is for me recently. But it'll be better.
Listen, I mean, I really had to dig deep to even find bad dates of all the dates I've been on. And, this isn't to say like, oh, Rayna has the worst dates and Ashley doesn't. I think you've had a bad run here in LA. You've had great dates before in the past. Like, yeah. So, I mean, Rayna and I have been dating for 20 plus years and have had tons of amazing fun dates. We always talk about how fun it was to date in New York, and I've gone out with so many great guys. I've gone out with so many guys that I was like, God, I'm bummed that I don't like them more. You know, like this was a wonderful person. There was a guy in Atlanta, I think about it, met him on Tinder probably way back then. And like we stayed friends. You know, I went out on one date. Remember that guy who took me on that taco crawl in New York? And I was like, we didn't really vibe, but I introduced him to Meryl. Like, I don't know. Like I've really gone on some wonderful dates where guys were super intentional, took me out for really fun activities and were really kind and nice.
Yeah.
A ton.
I've done tons of that in every other city. And not all of them have been bad here. A couple of them have been like egregiously bad.
Yeah.
But some of them are just not my guy, you know? And so I think sometimes you just got to eat a lot of shit before you find something better.
Eat a lot of shit.
You gotta eat some shit sometimes.
Is that a saying?
Maybe.
That's Rayna's kiss a bunch of frogs.
Yeah,
You get to your prince.
You gotta eat a lot of shit.
You gotta eat a lot of shit. Have you heard that?
That's a thing. You gotta take a lot of shit.
And we are full circle. With taking a shit.
Girls gotta eat.
Okay, girlsgottaeat.com, where you can find all of our partners and our merch, of course, that we sell on Shopify, and Girls Gotta Eat podcast. We are on Instagram and TikTok. We are posting a lot of fun clips all the time. So get in there, comment, engage, let us know what you think. And I am Ash Hess on Instagram, ASHHESS. Follow me. Rayna is Rayna.Greenberg, and Vibes Only. Rayna.Greenberg.
Okay.
Rayna motherfucking Greenberg. Oh no, it's Rayna fucking Greenberg. Sometimes Sparkle Eyes calls you that.
Rayna fucking
Because you said
Greenberg.
that girl came up to you on the street one time. It was like Rayna fucking Greenberg. So sometimes he'll be like Rayna fucking Greenberg.
I was thinking about last night in bed was the time I was having phone sex on the street at 2:00 in the afternoon and a fan walked up to me.
Iconic. Okay, vibesonly.com. And if you're having phone sex, you're going to need those. So vibesonly.com and vibesonly on Instagram. And subscribe on YouTube. Share this episode with a friend. Everybody's had a bad date story that they would love to chat about. So you can bond over this episode, and we'll see you next week.
Have a good week, guys.
Bye.